From yoga teacher to transformational mentor, Naomi shares her raw journey through mental health struggles, eating disorders, addiction, and depression, and how she rebuilt her life through self-trust, psychedelics, women's health awareness, and personal growth. In this powerful conversation, we explore psychedelic healing, medication, authenticity, creativity, gender dynamics, and finding purpose in dark seasons. If you're navigating anxiety, burnout, or searching for deeper meaning, this episode is about turning pain into power and reclaiming your most aligned life. If you're enjoying the show, it'd be huge if you could help me out, hit the follow button, and leave a rating. It really helps the show grow more than you realise. This is TOMU, the open mic, unfiltered. Let's get fucking into it. Well, hello Naomi, thank you for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I have had a very nice, relaxing day in Thailand. So, yeah, feeling grounded.
Grounded. So what have you been up to today in Thailand?
I have literally just trained, sat in the sun, got a head massage, and now I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like quite a standard day in Thailand then. The massage, the grounding, and the sun.
Yeah,
Happy
exactly.
days. Well, for those that don't know, Naomi got in touch with me through a mutual friend, Ross, who was my first guest on the podcast. She reached out to see if we were sort of aligned in our values and what we're trying to achieve in our message, and it turned out that we were very similar in what we're trying to do. So if you'd like to explain what it is your goals are at the moment for spreading a message, or...
Yeah, for sure. At the moment, I feel like I'm in a little bit of a weird point in my career where I've kind of been in the yoga and wellness space for around 2 years now. I've been teaching yoga for 2 years. And now I'm kind of looking to step into something a little bit different, which is mentoring women. And my focus is really around self-trust and learning to trust yourself again, what it means to abandon yourself, whether that is through, substances, whether that's through unhealthy relationships or just not going after the things that you want. So that's kind of what my messaging is around at the moment, and where I'm really, I guess, pouring my energy and life force into is, helping other young women who have been on a similar journey to me. But definitely in a bit of like haven't fully stepped out of my previous kind of role of social media management. Like, I've done a lot of things, but haven't fully stepped into the new version, I guess. So, in that liminal state.
But it hasn't always been so grounding for you, has it? Since leaving university?
Yeah. I know when someone says that, like, I'm like, where should I start?
Yeah, no, I get it. That in your mind, you're thinking there's quite a timeline here. How do I begin this? Let's start with, because obviously you went to university and then you dropped out, and that's why you started your podcast. What was it? The Dropout? The
Diary of a Dropout.
Diary of a Dropout. That was it. Sorry. So that led you on that path, but the reason. Where did you find yourself after you dropped out? Did you find yourself a bit lost and trying to sort of figure out where you were going again?
Yeah. I think dropping out of uni was such a pivotal point for me. I think up until that point, I think I've said before in a piece of content, I felt like I was a really passive participant in my life. And I think a lot of us are. We're just kind of going through the motions, especially when you're young. You never really think you have much of an active role in your life. You're just kind of like, oh, these things happen to me. These friendships, relationships, life experiences happen to me. And then, going to uni, it was that same sort of like, oh, I'm just going to do what everyone else does. Like, I didn't really think about it. It was just like another, I guess, unconscious decision. And then, a couple months in, a lot was wrong with my life. A lot was wrong with my mental health. A lot was wrong with the way that I was using substances, and also my relationship at the time. I was in a really unhealthy relationship. And it kind of took getting to that rock bottom, as I'm sure you're very well versed in with all that I've seen of
Familiar.
your content.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes getting to that rock bottom to be like, yeah, something needs to change. And taking that step to dropping out was terrifying, like, because it was the first time in my life I had been like, no, I'm not going to do what everyone else is. And I felt like it was just such a big failure. I felt like I'd disappointed my parents. And like, I know we said on our call, I just, at the time, looking back, it's so funny. I thought it was like the biggest deal ever. I was like, I ruined my life. And it's like, you can't ruin your life when you're 18.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt super lost. And that's why I started my podcast, because I was speaking super openly on TikTok and my account was getting a lot of traction. And I was having so many people message me, be like, I feel like this at uni. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just really struggling and everything. And it made me think, yeah, there's actually space here for me to share my story in a longer form content. And that's kind of where my podcast was born from.
I think that's a good start, a good introduction to how it all sort of came about. You said about being a participant in your own life. Are you referring to that in the sense of, did you find that you were outside looking in a lot of the time? Or was it more of you were just passively going through life?
Yeah, I think I was really disconnected from myself and from my body. And yeah, growing up, like, you know, every diagnosis under the sun, like eating disorders, addiction, depression, anxiety, like everything, you name it, like I went through in my teen years. And then I think that led to me being just kind of really, I guess, quite numb and just like kind of taking things as they came. And then I think the past few years since I've been like an adult and really stepping into that agency of like, this is my life and I can live it how I want. There's been like such a turning point to be like, I'm the one that's in control and I get to decide what I accept in my life, what I tolerate, and what I don't tolerate. So yeah.
It's quite a powerful feeling though, isn't it, when you come to the realization that you're in charge, or it's, you know, you decide where your life path is going and you don't have to be so passive or submissive as the journey continues. Because I think we all fall into it where, you know, I was the same when I was doing what I was doing. I was passive in it and I felt like it wasn't too bad. It was okay. Like I knew it wasn't good, but it wasn't, in the moment, I didn't feel it was terrible. I didn't think it needed to change anything because I was just sort of coasting. There was no reason to change. There was nothing that was too dramatic that felt, oh, I need to reevaluate my life at the moment because it's not going too well. It was just very easy, plain sailing, but just with a sprinkle of chaos every now and then, I suppose, that knocks you back. But if it's all right, I'd like to discuss the eating disorder with you. Was that early on in your teen years? Was it later in your teen years?
Yeah, so I mean, I was first admitted to CAMS when I was 8.
What's CAMS? Sorry.
CAMS is Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services in the UK.
Right, okay.
And yeah, my parents got divorced and I just kind of stopped eating. Like, I didn't know what an eating disorder was at that time. But now I understand that, yeah, eating disorders happen because you kind of feel out of control and you're wanting to like get that control back. And I mean, it wasn't like super, I never want to like downplay stuff, but also like it wasn't super extreme.
No, I get it.
And then, yeah, when I was like maybe 14, 15, I started like binging and restricting and like, yeah, I think it's like, I often talk about like with addiction, with eating disorders, with pretty much any kind of vice or thing that you're doing that's like unhealthy and that compulsivity, right? I never think that actual thing is the problem. There's always that root underneath. Yeah. There's some wound that's happened that you haven't fully processed, and that addiction or compulsive behavior whether it's gambling, smoking, whatever it is a symptom of the problem. Yeah.
And do you think your parents getting the divorce was maybe the beginning or the catalyst of sort of your not escapism, but the path you went down?
Yeah. Well, we're getting deep.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously for any child or person who's listening to this, whose parents have split up, like it's when you're younger as well. I mean, at any age, like it's shit and it's hard. And yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I feel like I need to do more therapy to like work out where it all began. But yeah, I think it's a huge thing to go through as a kid, and yeah, and everything that comes with it, right? It's not just your parents getting divorced. It's suddenly you're living between two houses, and then both my parents got remarried, and everything that comes with that, and like money stuff, and yeah, there's so much more like experiences than just the initial separating.
No, for sure. I had a friend growing up, one of my closer friends growing up, and yeah, his parents were split, and I could even see then feeling like he was in two places, living between his mum and his dad's place, and you're never really settled, and your routines are changing every week, and it's like you're going to school and you haven't got your school bag, or you haven't got this, and then you realize that your mum's was at your dad's, and just little things like that as a kid can cause you stress. Do you know what I mean? Where you're not grounded or rooted into one place. You feel like you're split between the two, and then like you say, you get step mums or stepdads and then step siblings, and then you've got to sort of figure that out, and so it's a lot for a young mind to take on. So yeah, I think it is a sort of a very difficult place for a young person to be. It's very confusing.
For sure, really disorientating, and it's so funny, like talking about moving from place to place, and it's like I recently this year moved in with my partner. We've got our flat together in Jersey, and it was like a weekend, and I was like, I've never been in one place for this long. Like wherever I've been, and I've continued to create it in my adult life, right? I'm like, I'm going traveling, I'm doing this, and okay, I'm gonna live between my boyfriends and my dad's, or my dad's in the UK, or my mum's, and do you know what I mean? I've always created a second space for myself subconsciously, because I'm sure other people will relate to this. Like, if things are bad at my dad's, I can go to my mum's. If things are bad at my mum's, I can go to my dad's. And so I had created that well into my adult life of having an escape route almost. And then, moving in with my partner, I was like, I've never been so relaxed in my life. Like, all my stuff's in one place. I don't have to move. Like, I don't have to have like a bag that I'm living out of. And I was just like, wow, this is so peaceful. Is this what everyone else feels like?
Yeah. So you don't have to have that emergency bag packed ready all the time in case you need to just grab it and get out and bail.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So the eating disorder wasn't really for any sort of image reasons or vanity. It was solely just because you were, I suppose, depressed, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, looking back, like, I have recently realized that I'm a big perfectionist. And it shows up in these rules that I make for myself. And I think, even when I was a child, I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be a really good girl. Like, I wanted to get really good grades and make my parents proud. And I was a gymnast as well. So everything was like pointed toes, like super strict. And I guess, like that striving for perfection. And also then I grew up and went to JCG in Jersey, which is a beautiful, amazing school, but also super competitive and like focused on exams and everything like that. And then I think, growing up in my teenage life, I was like, oh, it's impossible to be perfect, right? Like I'm never going to please anyone. So then I was like, fuck it. And I kind of had these two sides of myself where it was like the girl that got really good grades and like really liked my teachers, and my teachers really liked me. And then periods where I went to church with my mum and I was like, and then I had this like rebel who was like, dating boys really, really young, like sneaking out and drinking and smoking and just being completely subversive way earlier than my peers. And those two parts of myself were like at war, because it was like, yeah, wanting to be this person who's everyone's proud of, but then also having this like really messy side of myself. Yeah.
So the people at church wouldn't recognise the other Naomi?
Oh no, they would. I was kissing boys at church as well.
Really? Okay, behind the church.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my first cigarette at church.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So you weren't trying to hide it too well then? No, you're quite open with it.
No. I think I was just like,
give a shit.
Yeah, I think like looking back, it's really sad, because like I was like obviously hurting so much, and such like it wasn't so much that I was trying to keep these two parts separate or like hide it. It was actually, I think, probably looking back, like a cry for help, where I was like, please someone see that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And probably trying to get attention as well. And trying to be like, yeah, things aren't okay.
Yeah, instead of asking for help, it's sort of visually showing that you're not okay and hoping someone asks you, do you want some help? Is it back to JCG? What is it like? Like, what's the experience being in an all-girls school? You said it was very competitive. Is it quite catty then? Because I know girls can be. So I've got a younger sister, and I know that girls can be quite mentally not aggressive. What's the word?
Psychological warfare.
That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to find it. It was there. Yeah, you helped me out a lot. Yeah, they can just mentally get into you without, and it's so subtle sometimes as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a really like mixed experience. Like I had some periods of my life where school was like my safe place, and like, yeah, I had great friends, and like I loved English, I loved art, I loved media, like, and yeah, I've always loved learning. And I think there's part of me that loved like the structure and routine of school. Like I knew what was happening, I knew what was expected of me and stuff. But then I had really, really lonely periods as well, where I wouldn't know where I could sit and eat lunch. Yeah, I definitely had my fair share of being bullied. I was bullied really badly in year 12, but that was by boys. Like the girls weren't the problem.
Okay, right.
So yeah, I had like definitely a mixed experience, but definitely experienced the kind of cliquey like groups, like being left out. But then I was also like, I think people can say like, oh, I was, left out and whatever, but like I was also, I was mean at school as well at times. Like, I look back and I'm like, that probably, yeah, I wouldn't treat someone like that that I did now. But I think I can kind of have that self-awareness now and be like, we were all teenagers. And yeah, I think the environment that an all-girls school creates is very unique, but also beautiful. Like I wouldn't be the person I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for that environment as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, cut yourself some slack. We like you say, we're all teenagers, we're all kids, and we all said and did things we probably regret now or do regret now. And sometimes you just follow the crowd as well, don't you? You don't really know why you're doing or saying things, but you're so fearful of being left out of the group or the loop that you just follow suit,
Yeah, for sure. It's that group like pack mentality.
Yeah, exactly. It is what we were like. You see one wounded animal, and you all just sort of get your fair share of it. And I might be wrong, but I have a theory. Do you think with being in an all-girls school, you're smiling? Do you think being in an all-girls school, do you think it has it causes like a different relationship towards boys, like growing up? Do you think because it's sort of you don't see them often more, is it you're more interested because you don't see them every day, or because it's like something
interesting new? So I have so much to say about this.
Yeah, like, okay.
Because like we had a teacher who said boys mean bees. And like also a B isn't bad. Like a B is a good grade.
I'd take a B.
Yeah, but so it was like the whole culture was like, yeah, boys are distracting, boys are bad. And obviously as a teenager, anything that's distracting or bad or subversive or naughty, you're like, oh my God. And it was like, I think, yeah, when we'd walk past the boys at school, we'd be like, hee hee hee. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas probably for me, actually, I was lucky because I had like brothers growing up. Like I'm super close with my dad. Like I've always, I don't know, just been surrounded by boys, whether it's cousins or in different like family friend groups. Like I'm not someone that grew up like never speaking to guys. So I think for me, maybe it's a little bit different. But yeah, definitely, I think it almost puts men on this like pedestal. And also I think only seeing boys as like a sexual conquest, as like a boyfriend or like in that way, I always wonder if all schools were mixed, like whether you would just have that more normal like friendship relationship with guys. Yeah, I think it's super interesting.
It's interesting that you say, yeah, that it was more if you were speaking to a boy, then it was in order for it to like be a boyfriend or a relationship at the end, or in some form, rather than just a platonic friendship where you just enjoy each other's company or you have a laugh with a girl or a boy together. But yeah, and I've always had that.
For sure.
I've always thought that, you know, because I was even thinking, even at school when I was there, I was thinking all the private school girls, they just seem to be a bit more, what's the word? They're just, yeah, more willing to be in a relationship. Whereas in the other schools, it was a bit more, now I'm happy to be friends or just, you know, be casual. Or so now it's always something that's been on my mind. And I finally got to ask the question to someone that can give me a bit more of an in-depth answer to just my speculation.
Yeah.
So when did the partying start then? Did that start at university? Obviously it was probably beforehand a little bit, but was it quite heavy more so in university once you got away from the island?
So yeah, super interesting. I started drinking and partying when I was like 12, 13.
Shit. Okay.
This isn't to blame my family or my parents in any way, but I grew up in a family culture that loved a party, like loved to drink. And I have, like with all my stepsisters and stuff, I'm the second youngest. So I had loads of older siblings and sisters and brothers who were drinking and partying and everything like that. And we'd have these big family parties and I would steal alcohol. And then also like my friends at school, like we would drink on the weekends and like, it was super cool and fun, and I thought it was like very normal. And then I look back and I'm like, I should have been still playing with my Barbies. Like that should not have happened.
Yeah, I should have been having teddy bear teacup parties and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it does, I am just a bit like shit. Like I would never have, I mean, my parents didn't necessarily know what I was doing. I would be like, hey, I'm going for a sleepover. Little did they know I was like in a field.
Yeah, no, been there. Yeah, you leave the house and the bottles are all clinking in the backpack, and yeah.
And also like I look actually pretty young like now, but when I was like 13, 14, like I looked older than I do now. You know, I had bleach blonde hair, like big eyelashes, and like I would get served everywhere. Like I get ID'd when I was like older. I would get ID'd way more. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely always looked and acted a lot older than I was. And then that carried on all throughout my teens. I was like smoking, vaping really early on as well. And then, yeah, went to uni. And I think that's when it got a bit more like hardcore, you know, because like I had never really, I mean, probably that summer, like between A levels and uni, but I had never like really done drugs like when I was younger. I was like, yeah, okay, drinking's one thing, but I'd always been like, I'm not just gonna take something that, I don't know, it just didn't like occur to me as something that I would do. And then yeah, that summer was my crazy girl summer.
Yep.
And I don't actually think I got addicted to like the drink or the drugs just because it made me feel like so shit. And it was kind of around that time where I was like getting more into my spirituality, and it was like this very strange dynamic where I was both really coming into the light of myself and like having this hope around life and stuff, and then also having these super like dark and damaging experiences. It was the weirdest time of my life, like probably from like when I finished my A levels to like that Christmas. Those 6 months were like, yeah, really weird.
Was
That's the
a
only way I can
storm.
describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting though. You said it's big contrast between feeling like you're coming through to yourself again and feeling what it is that you're here for, your purpose, or yeah, just like say seeing some light, but you're also in these moments where you lose yourself again, and it's a horrible place to be because you're fighting yourself. You know, you're waking up and you're thinking, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. I see more for myself, but I seem to be keep getting drawn into the wrong decisions or the wrong environments, and I know it's wrong, but I can't stop where I am at the moment. But I think it's sometimes a process, you know. Sometimes you have to go through that to come out the end and realize what it is you want and what it is you don't want.
yeah, for sure.
And what was your first experience then with, say, hard drugs? Would it start with weed?
Oh my God.
Was weed sort of your first little toe in the water?
Oh no, I was smoking weed when I was younger as well.
Okay. Well, that is drugs, but it's not really as
Yeah,
yeah.
but for me, like, it was only like I never really got addicted to weed when I was younger, just because like I couldn't buy it. I wasn't in those circles.
Yeah,
I was actually saying this to my partner because, like, obviously in Thailand it's like everywhere.
Yeah, it's legal now,
And I
isn't it,
was
in
like,
Thailand?
yeah. Well, I think it's been made illegal, but like it's still everywhere.
Okay.
And I was saying to my boyfriend, I was like, oh, it's mad, like looking at all these shops and it's just everywhere, everyone's smoking it. And when I was younger, I would literally be like, it was such a stress to me that I like couldn't find any weed. And it was like this really, like, yeah. And I just, like I said, I was the good girl. So I wasn't in those circles. So I was like messaging all these weird boys on Snapchat. Like,
yeah. No, I've been there.
Yeah, and then I don't know where, like, it's super personal, but yeah, I guess it was just that summer and the people that I was surrounded with kind of really normalized it as well because they're a bit older than me, and I kind of was introduced to the adult world, and I was like, oh, everyone does coke, like everyone just gets a bag. Like I was like, oh, it's just like a UK thing. That
You'd be quite surprised though that how many people are on cocaine in a pub. You would be.
Genuinely on like a Wednesday evening as well, right? And I think because I was so young, because I had just turned 18, and probably coming from, like, I know I was like partying and stuff, but like Jersey is like you are pretty sheltered. So then kind of going into this other world in the UK because of the relationship that I was in at the time, and being with all his friends and stuff, and like just being like, oh, this is just adult life and this is what people do and it's normal. And I think it has become normalized, like especially in the UK. And yeah, that was like, I guess, my experience, just thinking it was normal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you get dragged into it's your environment as well. You know, sometimes I ended up about 17. That's when I started hanging out with my older cousins, and you know they were all into that sort of stuff, and I just followed suit. You know, so it wasn't, and I just thought it was normal because, like you say, I 17 and they were getting me into the pub, and I thought I was really cool because obviously I'm not 18 yet, and I'm out with the big boys and I'm drinking, and you know, and then they would just do it, and it felt so casual. Do you know what I mean? Even in the pubs, and no one really batted an eyelid or said you shouldn't do that, and it was just, you just thought it was normal. You're like, oh, this is what adults do. You know, this is what it means to go to the pub, and it just became something that came hand in hand. But I remember when I first tried ecstasy, and the reason I tried it, because I was always nervous of trying, because you hear these horror stories, you know, of bad pills and what could happen to you, and obviously you have that prison me no way stuff at school, I think, back, and you know, drugs are bad, and I used to be terrified of swallowing tablets. Like, I could never swallow a tablet. Bear in mind, at this point I'm probably about 16, 17, and I still haven't swallowed a tablet, like a paracetamol or anything. I used to crush them up, and so the first pill I swallowed was an ecstasy tablet, and the only reason I did it was because the boy said to me, you've got more chance of choking on a cabbage leaf than you have dying of taking ecstasy. And the moment he said that, for some reason in my brain, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm sold. Give me one. And then You think it's,
So easy.
yeah, there's no real, yeah, persuasion. It was just, yeah, it's a cabbage leaf. And I was like, all right, that
Like,
sounds
yeah, you
logical.
know what?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, give me a tablet and let's see what it's all about. And yeah, and I think from that moment, I don't know about yourself, but the euphoria from it was obviously incredible. That's why people go back to it. But it was never really the same. You know, once I was doing it every weekend, and then it just became something you did, and then you're chasing that same sort of euphoric feeling, and you know, from the toes to the head, and it never came back. Do you know what I mean? That's the sad thing. You're always chasing a high that you'll never get again, and we think we will, so we just take more, but we're just damaging ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I'm sure you've got ADHD as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And like for me, when I was in like that party scene, it's like, I don't know if you've heard the phrase of like always chasing the fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Like that was me to a T. Like when I would be in any of my like destructive phases, I guess, it was always chasing that fucking dragon. I can't just have one drink. When am I going to have my next drink? Okay, drink, line, vape, and then you're just like on to the next. And it's, you don't ever just sit and like, because like drugs can be fun, like like drugs can be fun, and like it's not me like, you know, condoning them or anything, but like that's
we're
the
not
reason
promoting
people do
drug
them, right?
use.
No, of course not. But it's like I don't know where I'm going with this, but there's just no presence when you're on those like destructive like benders, and it was super destructive. And like I've not spoken about that yet, but I had a lot of like suicidal thoughts and ideation, and I attempted to take my own life when I was 14. And like from I guess 13 to 18, I didn't care if I lived or died. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't care. I don't care. And it was like that lack of care and love for myself that drove that like impulsivity, because it was like I just want to like trying to fix something that didn't feel right within myself. And if you don't care for your life, you know what you were saying about being scared to take like ecstasy, but if you don't care about your life, like why would you stop? If you're not scared of dying, like there's no reason to then want to feel better. Yeah, sorry, that was super heavy.
No, that's all right. I can completely relate to you, and it's like passive suicide, I think they call it. It's where you just sort of you know what you're doing is destructive, and you know it might not end well, but you don't really care, and you're just going to keep going, because it's not that you haven't got the bravery or the courage to take your own life, and it might be part of that for some people, but it's more maybe you don't know how to do it or what to do, and you continue down the path you're going, hoping maybe that tonight might be the last night. And I used to say it to my old man, my mum, and you know, I'd say I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And there was points when I got really into it where I was just we'll see if I wake up tomorrow. I don't really care what I'm putting in my body today or tonight. And it's just, it's a very sort of sad and lonely place to be. And it's like, I think I've said in some of my content, like there'll be moments where, you know, I know I've took too much, and then maybe there's like a moment of actually I don't want to, you know, die today, and then you think, well, I can't really go back now, so I just need to hope that whatever you believe in up there or is gonna sort of see me through tonight and let me wake up in the morning. And it's a really it's just a horrible place to be when you're just so disconnected from yourself, and there's people around you, but you're lonely. You know, it's not the people really you want to be around, or they're not helping you progress in any way, shape or form.
I feel like super tender in my heart hearing this. It feels that super like, just like, I know that there's so many people out there who have like experienced that, and I think it's also with, you know, substances and addiction, it's not only the physical and the mental damage that you're putting yourself in. Like I got myself in some super dangerous situations where looking back, I'm like, I could have been seriously hurt and or traumatized, right? And like I look back and I'm like, thank God that I'm actually okay. Like there's so many times I look back where I'm like, yeah, I probably should have died.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
that's like something that, does make you believe like there's something greater looking out for me, and that
Mm,
there's a greater purpose for my life here, because
mm.
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, no, it's mad you say that. Yeah, I got a little bit of goosebumps there when you said that, because I've been in the same sort of feeling, boat, mindset. It's, you think, well, why am I still here then? Because I've gone through all that, and I've still got energy and life and will and determination in me. So there must be something at the end of this for me. I'm trying to figure out what it is, and guess you are at the moment as well with your change of direction.
Mm.
But it's true what you say with the ADHD thing as well, just chasing that dragon. Because I was the same, I think I said to you when we spoke briefly before all this that, it's like 1 pint. Why do I want 1 pint? Like, what am I going to do with 1 pint? If I'm going to come to the pub, I'm going to come to the pub, and we're going to be out all weekend, or I'm not coming to the pub. Like, to me, it's all or nothing, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be, but it can be used and utilized in a much more productive way. If you find something you're really passionate about or want to work on, rather than just destroy yourself with alcohol and substances. But that's a quick fix. That's a quick dopamine hit. That's a quick way to sort of get yourself stable and regulated. And I said it in one of my previous videos as well. It's like when I had a drink or a line or whatever, it was the only time I sort of felt like I was able to be where I was. Because otherwise, if I wasn't in that sort of sense of mind or intoxication, then I would just be everywhere and I just couldn't relax. But then it went too far, because you get a taste, and then once you get a taste, it's normally game over. Have you done psychedelics? I know you touched on it briefly, and you said that was a part of your sort of awakening, if you want to call it.
Yeah. So I first sat with psychedelics when I was 18. So actually before I went to uni, in that kind of 6 months, and I had a really high dose of mushrooms in kind of an attempt to lift me out of what had felt like a lifelong depression. And it did. Like, it was genuinely the most profound spiritual experience of my entire life.
Okay.
And I've just never experienced something like that. And that's why I kind of said in those 6 months, it was like this lightness of, because I experienced joy and I experienced happiness, and I was like, okay, I could be happy here on this earth. Because before my mushroom trip, I had thought like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it to 18. I'd never really envisioned a future for myself.
Okay.
And then, yeah, doing mushrooms, I was like, oh, wait, there is light, there is beauty, there is hope, there's joy, there's happiness. And I felt like I understood my psyche and just the world a lot more. But it was such an intense experience. I don't know how much you know about like the neuroscience of psychedelics, but they can kind of blow everything apart, like all your ego structures, all your defense mechanisms in your brain, which can be amazing, right? But looking back and with all the research and all the studying I've done now, I'm like, I didn't know this at the time, but I should have done my journey slightly differently. I didn't have the support and the integration and maybe the people around me and the right lifestyle to support that such a big like upheaval and change in myself. So it kind of wasn't until, that kind of gave me the hope and the momentum, and probably led to me being able to drop out of uni and take that different path, and then want to go traveling and do my yoga teacher training. Like I always say, I don't think I'd be alive if it wasn't for mushrooms.
Okay.
So yeah, using drugs can of course be so destructive, but I don't see mushrooms. I think they can be used in the same way as other substances, but I don't see them the same as coke or ketamine or, I think mushrooms are like a sacred medicine from the earth that have been given to us in order to heal, actually, and that is super special and important to me. So I don't kind of put it in that same category.
No, I think quite rightly as well. Synthetic drugs, I'm in the same position as you. I think are a lot different to your natural drugs or medicines. I think weed
Mm.
also, marijuana can be used in constructive ways if you have an intention why smoking it, or if you're smoking it for a purpose, maybe to open your mind a bit more or to be creative. But if you're using it just to escape and numb, and if you're smoking the stuff that's grown inside artificially and with the
Yeah.
high lights and the heat, then it's not the same as smoking natural growing pot, I think they call that, don't they, the natural stuff. So I think, yeah, you're definitely right. Natural medicines are,
Mm.
I think, and I think there's more research going into it now, and people are starting to open their minds a bit more and to understand that mushrooms and all these psychedelics and psilocybin, is it, like all these,
Psilocybin is
yeah,
the active ingredient. Yeah.
they can actually help cure depression or anxieties and mental health issues. And I think there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but there was a guy who like discovered LSD, and he took it every day, and he lived to like 100 and something. Apparently he was some crazy
Yeah.
guy.
Albert Hoffman.
He just cycled everywhere. Was it Dutch or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Yeah. He was Swiss.
Swiss.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, I read that the other day, and I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's such like a vast and incredible topic. I did a course last year with Psychedelics Today, and that's like definitely in my path in the future, like whether that's advocating for the legalization of the therapeutic use of psilocybin, whether that's running retreats or sitting for people and actually being actively involved in those ceremonies, whether it's using my psychology degree, which I'm doing right now, to help people have that infrastructure and that integration. Because I think the one thing that people maybe are getting wrong in the media or at the moment are like, these are these miracle cure-all drugs that you're just going to take magic mushrooms or ayahuasca and you're going to be fixed. All your problems done. And it's like, no, like I'm here to say I am such a big advocate for this work, but like it doesn't work like that. It's like you go to your ceremony and you engage and you sit with this medicine, but you have to respect the medicine, right? You have to be like, and it could show you some ugly shit, and you could see like, okay, I've got to stop smoking weed and stop drinking and break up with this unhealthy partner and change my job. Like you might get these messages that are super uncomfortable, and if you don't then make those changes within your life, like nothing is then going to change. So I kind of think psychedelics can upheave. I think people use the metaphor of like imagining an anchor on a boat. So the anchor's like in the sand. Psychedelics pull up the anchor, and then the boat's kind of like free falling. And integration is like going on your little navigation system, plotting a course, and then making the boat go in that course, right? Like it's up to you to be like, okay, I've got all these different insights and different parts that have come up, and now I need to decide where I'm going to take my life, and actually just getting on with life as well and living life. I see a lot of people in the spiritual community going back to do more ayahuasca, going back to do more mushrooms, because they feel like they need some more downloads, some more messages. And it's the same thing. And it's like, if you're not actually here in 3D real world living your life, whether that's making content or not, like, but do you know what I mean? Like taking real grounded action in business or in love or in, creating your home or whatever it is that you want to do on this planet Earth.
Naturally.
Filling your cup up, exactly. Then what's the point in all this work? What's the point in improving yourself so much if you're not really living here?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because I had the same. I was fighting not with mushrooms, but the only sort of relation I can put to it is with my ADHD medication. I was given that, and I was told that it will change my life and it will make everything, it's a quick, like, it will fix me. The words were, it will fix you. So I thought, I'll take this and everything will be perfect. And then I took it, and I was having all these ups and downs, and I was realizing I thought this was like the limitless tablet, that I was just going to be on form. And I started to realize, well, no, it's a tool to be used with everything else that I'm learning or that I have to change or make changes to. And that was being sober, eating better, sleeping better, moving my body more again. And it was all these things that came into along with the medication. So let's say with the mushrooms, if we wanted to keep on that subject, then all that combined is what gives you a new sense of reality or life or purpose. It's not just
for sure.
keep taking mushrooms and then that's going to solve all your problems, because it's the same as just keep smoking weed or keep drinking.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve your problems, but it might make you feel good for a little while and then you have to go back.
Mm-hmm. And it's creating that reality that is so beautiful and so enjoyable, right? Creating those routines, and whether that's the food that you eat or the people that you surround yourself with, that actually feels so good that it's like a nice life to come back to. And I think that's maybe something I didn't realize, because like I'm not sober now, like but I did do a year of sobriety. And I take like weeks and months off at a time. I wouldn't consider myself addicted to any substance, but that was something I really realized on my year of sobriety. I was like, it's not enough. Like, you can give everything up. Like, you could be a fucking monk, right? But you still wouldn't be happy. Like, you have to, like, you can give everything up and take everything away, but you actually have to add things. Like, you have to add love, you have to add joy and dancing and music and food and holidays and beautiful experiences to actually make a life worth living enough where you don't want to go back to your old life. And like, I think with all the stuff that we see online about like self-improvement and the grind and the hustle and stuff, I'm like, I'm not doing any of this work so that I can work harder. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing this work so that I can feel more joy, so that I can feel more love, so that I can feel more happiness and peace and do more good in the world. Like, that's my goal. And I think the self-improvement can be like such a trap, because you're just like looking for things that are wrong with yourself. Yeah, I feel like I could go down a whole rabbit hole there, but
That's all right. Don't worry about it. You're right. It is about adding to your life when you take away, because, you know, me on my sobriety journey, I took everything away thinking as well that would help. And you're completely correct. I still didn't feel like I was better. You know, I wasn't hungover every weekend or every morning, but I wasn't better. I wasn't feeling happy. I was just sober and sad now rather than drunk and sad. So it was like, nothing really changed. And then I started to realize, and it's mad, isn't it? Because you just start to, well, I need to do something maybe, and then that might give me some joy and fulfillment. And then you do something, and it's like, it's just a chain reaction, isn't it? It's a knock-on event. You do one thing, and then you think of something else, you do something else, and then you start to realize, okay, well, I mean, life is all about balance and trying to like enjoy the passage of time, because sometimes we try and kill boredom by doing stuff we shouldn't be doing, or just is unnecessary. Like, sometimes you find yourself scrolling for about an hour or two, and you're like, I don't know what I've watched, I don't know what I've scrolled, I don't know why I've spent 2 hours doing that, but you just get sucked into it because it takes you away.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And I think, I actually think boredom's like a massive thing. And I think I see it so much I think because my work, I'm like, want to go into working, especially with women. So I'm going to speak specifically to like,
that's cool.
To women, I guess, at this point. But I see so many women abandoning like their kind of creativity or their hobbies or the things that really give them life for like relationships or for substances or for these things that are life-taking. And I have noticed like the worst points in my life are when I'm not creating. And that is when I get all stagnant and stuck, and when I want to drink, and when I want to do unhealthy things and be jealous and like, you know, just like not my best version of myself. And I genuinely think creativity, whatever that means for you, for some people that's dancing, for me it's writing, or like dancing and yoga, and I find that super creative. And whatever your specific outlet is, I think like creativity is so healing, because you're adding something to the world. We're in such a consuming mindset, whether that's with content, whether that's with food or substances. Like, we have been brought up in a society that values consumption, and I think creativity kind of flips that on your head, where you're actually like bringing something. I'm gonna get really woo-woo right now. You're bringing something from the ether, if you like, from God, spirit, from something that doesn't exist yet, and you're bringing it down through you using your hands and your brain and your eyes, and you're bringing it into the world. And like, women have creative energy. Like, we literally source life from our fucking wombs. Like, and if you as a woman are not creating, like, you are just, you're going to put that energy into something that's not useful. And I think that's been the biggest lesson for me, definitely this past year, is like, I need to create. Like, that's when I get depressed, if I'm not creating. Sorry, that was just like such
That's all right.
tangent.
That's good. I can hear your passion in there as well. So do you believe women are creators then? That's their one of their big, it's not their sole purpose, but it's something that, you know, is incredibly ingrained in a woman, is being creative. Because they do say, like, you know, I mean, take me for example. My girlfriend, I personally don't think like a home's a home until a woman gets their hands on it, because they can then create a space or an environment that feels like a home. Whereas a guy, for me, I'd be happy with my TV, my sofa, and a bed. Do you know what I mean? That's all I need.
Yeah.
Whereas a woman would make it a home. She'd create something special inside of those walls.
For sure. I think there's two pieces here. And I think one of them is, I think the feminine is creative. Like, the feminine is more fluid. And I think I get a bit like feminine and masculine, but like, it's that sense of like beauty and awe and sensuality and wonder that is, I feel, inherently feminine. But then kind of when you ask me, like, do you think women are creators? I mean, like, the womb is the portal to what doesn't exist, like the cosmos, like that I believe, because a womb is where life grows, where nothing becomes something. And I just don't think we respect that enough, like in our society, of that women are walking around with these portals in them that just like have so much power and life. And yeah, I've probably lost like half of your audience now. They're probably like, what the fuck is this shit on about? But
turn this one off. No.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, it's 50-50, the viewers. So, you know, there will be 50%, but there's also men that are intrigued in it. You know, I'm interested in it. You know, my girlfriend's very much into this. I call it woo-woo, hocus-pocus stuff. And, you know, I was very dismissive before I met her, and I've been with her now for nearly 9 years, or no, 8, 9 years. I can't remember. 2017, do the maths. So yeah.
8 years.
Yeah, so I listened to her talk about it, and it fascinates me the more I listen to her about it. And you were saying there, and it just made me think, and you might have seen my eyes wandering around there because I was just trying to get my thoughts together. But you mentioned like the woman, the womb, and the portal, and, you know, it creates something out of nothing. And it just made me sort of think, you know, well, it might sound a bit crazy, but, you know, the Big Bang, you know,
I'm here for it.
That the Big Bang was something out of nothing. So it's like you're walking around like a universe inside of your body. Do you know what I mean? You've got the power of the universe in that womb.
Yeah,
That's
honestly,
how I
and I
visualized
think,
it.
yeah, no, that's like such a beautiful reflection as well. And I think actually it does kind of like make me sad because of like the lack of respect for women in healthcare as well. Like, it's something I'm super passionate about. And kind of like the lack of research into periods and birth and just women's health in general. And it's kind of just this like, if you have any pain, it's like, just go on the pill and ignore it and it'll go away. And like, take an ibuprofen and get on with it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, could go down another rabbit hole. Like, I'm like, you're opening up all my like hyperfixation topics.
Yes, I'm setting you off a little bit, aren't I? I can see it. Yeah. No, but it's true though. And the periods again is something I've tried to sort of get an understanding with through, you know, talking to my girlfriend about it, because, you know, she sometimes has these serious sort of period pains or cramps, and I'm like, what does it feel like? Like, because I was like, what's the pain? Like, I'm trying to give me something to sort of, you know, put it into me so I can understand. Because to like when someone says I've got a cramp, it's like, oh, you got a cramp. Like, cramp's not that bad, but because it's the word you use. You know what I mean? You just say cramps, like, okay, well, yeah, I get cramps, but this is this is different. This is like, you know, what do they say? Yeah, it's like, it's disabling me. I can't move. You know, it's completely, it's like a real pain. It's not just an inconvenience.
Mm.
Do you think as well, with, because this is one of my girlfriend's sort of gripes, do you feel like tampons and pads and that should be made just available for free across any sort of, in any place?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Mm.
they actually are free in Jersey now. They
Are they?
changed the law. So
Okay.
in Waitrose, like at the exit, there's free tampons and pads, and they're in a lot of
Oh.
toilets as well, which I think is great.
Mm.
But I think what actually annoys me more is that there are so many fucking synthetics and like chemicals in tampons and pads that are like, obviously because it's going into your bloodstream, like anything that you put up there that goes into your body. And yeah, the lack of kind of industry research and options that are actually like practical. I think men learning about periods should be like, not just if you're in a relationship with a woman, right? Like it should just be normalized and spoken about. And like, yeah, my boyfriend was the same when we first got together. He was like, you're gonna have to teach me, like, as if I'm a 5-year-old. Like, I don't understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
And like, I like literally got up our whiteboard and I was like, okay, so
Flip
this is the
chart.
luteal phase, and then I bleed, and then it's like a follicular, and then ovulation, and these are the things that I might want to do in each of these phases, and this is how I might be different. And like, he's like, what? Like, this is a lot. Like, and then yeah, it was even like a couple nights ago, like I get super sore, like back pain, and it's like, he was like, what out of 10 is it? And I'm like, 9 out of 10. Like, it's been like, I don't know if I should go to A&E or not. And he's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you're in that much pain, right?
Yeah,
and it's like,
and it's not bothering you too much.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I'll just go to work. Like, no worries. And it is like, yeah, I speak about this with so many of my friends. It's like this kind of just acceptance of women's pain and suffering and being like, yeah, it's all right. I think it's actually Florence and the Machine. Her new album came out, and in an interview she said that what I said before, it's like, yeah, as a woman you're just expected to take an ibuprofen and get on with it. And I'm like really happy that more people are kind of being like I think Spain has just introduced, maybe it's not Spain, maybe it is Spain. They like introduced that women can take time off work over their periods, which I think is great. But I think what would be more great is if we just did the research so that women didn't have to deal with the pain in the first place, right?
Yeah, that would
like,
be a good
what's
start.
going on? Yeah, like what's going on with microplastics, like seed oils, pollution, all these, our water, all these things that we can't control that are making men's sperm count go down, that are making women super inflamed, and like fertility rates down just across the board, and like so many people being chronically ill really early. Like when you look at the kind of research about our health, yes, okay, we're kind of the healthiest in terms of we live for the longest that we ever have done in society. But if you look at that quality of life and like how unhealthy a lot of people are, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I can't believe I've got on the podcast and I've turned to talking about tampons and pads, but it's good.
I know, yeah, me too. I was like, how did you get in here?
That's what I was just thinking as well.
About drugs.
Yeah, we went from partying, eating disorder, mushrooms to tampons. Yeah, it's quite the ride.
The full range.
Yeah.
It's the ADHD. It's because we're like bouncing off of each other.
I know.
Like,
you say
and
something,
when I think of something, I'm like, oh, and then this, and then I go like, oh.
You've had to stop yourself a couple of times. You keep. I could go on about this. I'm just gonna sort of pull my reins in right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I can make my podcast come back and talk about these topics more in depth.
Well, there you go. Listening, if you want to catch up for more from Naomi.
Yeah,
but it's true, though, isn't it? Because with the women as well, they go through the cycles. You mentioned the cycles there, and yeah, my girlfriend was trying to explain it to me in seasons. She was like, "This is like my summer season. This is my winter season. This is my spring season." And she's like, "You want to stay away from me at this season because that's probably where I'm probably the most touchy. So don't piss me off." So now I have an understanding. Okay, so I ask her, "Oh, what season are you?" She tells me, like, "Okay, well, I won't ask you this now. Then I'll wait until summer." Today's not the day. But no, that's
Oh yeah, I
interesting.
love that.
Mm.
And I find it super like heartwarming hearing stuff like that because and I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, from like a guy's point of view, it's almost like, oh, I don't want to seem rude or like even, oh, I don't know about this stuff, or I don't want to seem like intrusive, so I'm not going to ask.
Mm.
But I think it's really beautiful and I think it's really heartwarming for a woman. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but like for my boyfriend to be willing to learn about that. I mean, the bar is low, right? Like I'm like, yeah, learn about my biology. Like,
Yeah,
oh, he's such a good man. But I'm like, for real though, like
yeah.
it is really nice just to have that curiosity.
Mm.
And I think it's for women as well in the other direction. Like I've been learning about male hormone cycles and kind of your testosterone peaking in the morning and then going down. And then you have like a lull once you finish your work where like you're kind of having to jump from being in your work mode to being a boyfriend. And there's like that time where you're like just kind of adjusting. And I've been kind of seeing all this content and I'm like, it does go the other way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I find kind of the relationship between women and men and like how we relate to each other. You know, people say like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And I'm like, no, we're all humans, but we just have slightly different physiology and slightly different bodies and
Yeah.
ways of experiencing the world. But I think it's really beautiful to be like curious about that for each other.
Absolutely. And I don't think you're completely wrong in the question of asking about why men don't ask questions. I think it is there's probably a little bit of that, like you don't want to be intrusive, and I think also you just don't want to, I don't know, I think because of how the society is now, you don't really know as a man maybe with a good heart, or like, you know, they don't want to come across as being rude or like misunderstanding the woman or saying something they shouldn't say or being classed as misogynistic, or so you just think if I say nothing it's better than saying something that I might get wrong, so I'll just sort of I'll be a bit more reserved. But I think when you're in a relationship it might be a bit different because obviously you build that connection and trust with one another. Like I mean I wouldn't be at a bus stop and I wouldn't be having the conversation about tampons and pads with a woman, you know. Because
yeah,
that's probably
like,
a
so
bit
what season are you in?
yeah. She'd be like, what are you talking
Winter?
about?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell by the frown on your face that I should maybe shut up now, so I'm just gonna put my headphones back in. But no, I think that's exactly it. It's hard, and you're right as well about the male sort of situation, because I used to find that as well when I was working like a proper 9 to 5 job, and I would come home and, you know, she'd want to sit down and talk, and I'm like, I just need like half an hour or an hour just to sort of decompress, and then I can listen to you. But right now I used to have a nap all the time. I used to have such a napper. Like when I got home from work, I thought, just let me lie on the couch for half an hour, please. And then you can talk to me all you want, but I just give me a minute.
Yeah, and that's one of just the huge differences. And I think, yeah, since I've been living with my boyfriend, it's something that I've probably noticed more. And I'm like, and how was your day? And blah, blah, blah. And then this happened and this happened. And he's like, babe, I love you, but I'm like, and I could see it on his face. And then yeah, half an hour goes by and he's like, okay,
yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's I just don't experience that, but it's so interesting to learn that you do.
I think women are just much better at communicating or wanting to talk about situations or problems or issues or just in general, you know, like men just, I suppose we communicate in a different way. Like we maybe put a bit of lightheartedness onto something if it's a bit deep, because we don't want to get too deep, or we don't really want to go right into the issue or right into the problem. And I think that's why it's good to have friends or partner, and it's good to have the contrast in your life where you have female and male people within and around you, because if you need that conversation, you need that talk, then, you know, I used to go to my girl cousins and stuff when I needed to have a good talk and to have someone pull something out of me, because I'm not going to give it willingly. So I need someone who can, you know, like a female or someone with feminine energy to bring that out of me, because I'm not going to do it by myself. So I used to always enjoy having conversations with my female cousins.
Yeah, beautiful.
Going back to, you said the mushrooms, about how it sort of gave you life and realized that there was, you know, a life out there worth living. Do you still you still don't have your days, don't you, where you're not miserable, but you feel a bit down or question, and it's not always plain sailing.
No, for sure. I think the one thing that I'll say on this is that the one thing, and then I'm probably going to go list off about
10 minutes.
things.
Yeah.
Psychedelics completely gave me hope, but I still, have my dark days. I've been depressed since I've done mushrooms. Like, I've had, weeks where I felt like shit, but I've always had that light and that sense of like, I'm here for a reason, and that I have so much that I want to say. Could you ask me a question to like guide me a little bit more? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's fine. How do you pick yourself up when you have those dark moments, or when you find yourself falling into a bit of a depressive hole?
Yeah, I probably have like quite a different answer. Like, I feel like people will be like, "Oh, I'll go for a run, go and speak to someone." Like, I let myself go there, and because I find if I don't let myself go there, it just prolongs it. So I fully surrender to the depression, and I find that when I fully surrender, it could maybe be like a day or two, and I lie in bed, I cry, I scroll on my phone, like I just watch Netflix, and like I write a lot. Like, that is probably the best gift that comes out of depression for me, is I write some amazing poems.
Not to brag.
Not to brag, but when I'm depressed, like that's when the good shit comes out. I can't write happy poems. Like when I'm happy, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Whenever I've written a poem, it's always been sad as well. It just seems to be much easier, doesn't it, to write sad poems?
Yeah, for sure. So I really let myself go there, but I don't, and I let myself think the like scary and dark thoughts as well. And then I like have actually recently gotten better at reaching out to people and like letting them know what's going on for me. And then I think, I've done it before and I can do it again. I find it really hard though, and sometimes I find it discouraging, because if I get back into that dark place, I'm like, I've worked so hard to not feel like this, and now I feel like this again, and I'm gonna have to rebuild my whole life. But you learn something at those darkest moments every time, and also it's easy to feel like you're rebuilding, but every time you start over, you're building on the bit before then, so it's easier. You're like, okay, I know that I need to go to the gym and meditate and eat these foods, and like whatever it might be for you. And I just not wait for it to pass. I do things that I know feel good. Getting in the sea, like getting in cold water, is always amazing for me. Like, just fucking ice Baltic, as cold water as you can find, preferably in nature.
Pour it all over
and it feels sometimes like my brain's just been like cleared, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right now. But I'm very lucky that recently those dark days have been fewer and far between than ever before. So
that's good to hear.
It took me a while to even think about what I do. So
well, it's good to hear that they're few and far between now. And the sea for me has always been huge. I get in the sea and I feel much better. There was a question I was going to ask you there, and it just fucking popped out of my head. You talk about the sea. Oh yeah. You said that you allowed it to come, and I think that's brave, and I think it's also a very positive way of going about it. It's like facing your fear. It's like saying, come on then, I know what this is, I know what's going to happen, and I'm ready for you, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to process and I'm going to feel it, and then I can be stronger by processing rather than, again, running from it. Because people get depressed and they try and hide it through substance abuse, or filling their life with something else that takes that pain away for a little bit. Whereas, like you said there, just 2 days of just raw dogging it and just letting it sort of hit you, then you can process, you can feel it, and then you can understand why, or maybe move forward productively with that and make changes that come accordingly to that. I don't ever think you're lost either in life. I think you're always finding yourself, and that's the difference. Do you know what I mean? Between saying that you're lost, we're all lost in a way, because we're all sort of trying to find our way to the place we want to be. So rather than being lost, I'd like to say, you're trying to find yourself.
For sure. I think it's also like with what you were saying just there about kind of letting yourself go into it. And I've lost my train of thought. Let me just sit with that for a second. Yeah, I think I'm actually really like, I did another mushroom trip last year where I kind of grappled with my depression, and I was like, why have I been given this thing? Like, it's not fair. I have to work so hard to be happy, and everyone else just gets to wake up and they're fine, and I'm like, I have to not have any fun, like not drink, not smoke, like go to the gym 6 times a week and meditate and take my vitamins and eat all the right food. Like, why do I have to do all this shit? And I was super frustrated, and I kind of kept getting this feeling of like, yeah, but you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be who you were if it wasn't for those depressive times. And also, like, my depression doesn't let me be out of alignment. Like, that's the most beautiful thing about feeling things intensely and having mental health issues, is because there's a quote that I love, and I can't remember who it's by, but it says, "It is not a measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society." And I'm going to repeat that because it's such a good quote. "It is not a measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society." And your mental health or your addiction problems are not just a you problem, right? Like, it's a collective societal problem. And the times that I've been depressed, maybe something was out of alignment with myself. Maybe, I wasn't in a good relationship, or my friendships, or my career, whatever it is. And getting so sad to the point where you want to end your life, you're like, okay, something needs to change. And it gives you that fuel to change it. If you had never felt that intensity of emotion and you were just kind of like, da 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 da, you could carry on living an unconscious, shit, mediocre life for the rest of your life, right? Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. Like there are so many people living those lives, so it's just completely fine. But for me, I'm like, I that's not the life that I want. I want an extraordinary life, and my depression has enabled me to do that. And I think as easy as it is to say when you're kind of out of it, and I know that if I was listening to this depressed, I would be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could say to myself, like, try and see like the gold that's here. It's like, my depression has helped me see like the injustices that are in the world, like what I was talking about before with the microplastics and like all the stuff in our water and our food, and kind of the way that our societies run emotionally as well, and not allowing people to really feel their feelings. Like, I wouldn't have realized any of that if it wasn't for my depression, or like just the injustice that is everywhere. And it makes you such a sensitive and really beautiful member of society if you are someone that is that sensitive, because it just gives you so much more compassion for the world around you. And yeah, so I would say, I can't even remember what the original question was, but
no, me neither. Me neither.
Yeah.
But it was a great answer. I enjoyed it.
Thanks.
There was loads of parts there. I'm trying to. It's a mad thing, because as people are talking, I'm starting to learn the more I do these episodes. You're thinking of questions in your head or follow-ups, but then there's so much, and you're thinking, okay, right, which one do I start with? And then some get dropped off, and you think, okay, they weren't important then. And the more I'm talking now, I'm forgetting. What was I gonna say? But the injustice of it, and I think you mentioned about, why are people always happy? Why can't I be happy? And that's the same thing I look at as well. Like, I'm looking around at people, and I'm thinking, like you said there, I feel like I've got to try so hard every day to just function or be normal, like normal in quotations. And you look around at other people and you think, these people just get on with life. How do they do it? But then I've started to realize, well, are they happy? Or are they just sort of brainwashed into a mediocre life, which again, isn't a bad thing. But justice is another huge thing for me. And that's sort of the same thing I'm thinking of. And the quote you mentioned there, I can't repeat it, but I think I understand it. And it's funny because I said the same thing to my psychiatrist and my therapist, that I don't want these pills or these medications to change me. Like, I like who I am. Like, I like the ADHD personality of me. I just need it to be maybe focused more into, so I'm not so everywhere. What was I going to say? Shit, it's just gone. Yeah, so I said the medication feels like I'm taking it to be a member of society that people want me to be, so I can work and focus for a long time and get the job done and not be myself. Whereas I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want you to change me. I don't want to be part of the. I want to be part of you. Like, I like me.
Yeah, no, for real.
I just want to be a bit more structured. That's all I want.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of it kind of makes you question the whole mental health system and the way that we treat mental health, because it's like, are we treating people and giving them medication and giving them therapy in order for them to lead happier, healthier lives? Or are we treating them so that they can show up for work and can slot in and conform? And I always kind of think, like, the people who have the anxiety and the depression and the neurodiversity, like, are people who are actually, whose bodies are like, and minds and psyches are sensitive enough where they're like, this shit is not okay. Like, the way that we're living our lives, numbing and like our food and the way that we're destroying the earth is not okay. Like, this is not how humans were meant to live. And then you think about like social media and the influx of advertisement and everything that comes with that. It's like, this is not how we're meant to live. And then if you're the person that then is depressed or have these issues, you're then the problem, right? And it's easier to then treat that person rather than look at the entire system and be like, yeah, okay, maybe we should like burn it all to the ground and start again.
That takes a lot more work than just giving Cameron a tablet to shut up.
Exactly. Yeah, give Cameron the tablets and he can shut up and he can go to work and you know, live the life that everyone else is living. And I think that's why psychedelics are so risky for governments to legalize, is because if a lot of people took psychedelics, I think there would be a bigger push to upheave the current system and the current way that we are running the world.
People would be proper woke then if they started taking mushrooms. But no, you explained it really well. You explained it really well, and it is exactly sort of how I feel about the current situation. I think it was my therapist. I had a whole session to him where I spent an hour probably just ranting about the world and how we're living in a society, and it was exactly the same thing. I was like, you got these people who are like, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head are Bezos and Musk, and I'm saying they got, what was it, 400 billion pounds each. And I said, who needs that? Who needs that much money? Yeah, and you got people around the world. You got people in the UK, meant to be a first world country, in food banks and starving, can't turn on their heating. You know, old people dying every winter because they're cold. And you got a guy who's sitting in there with, you know, 64 bedrooms and 28 bathrooms. Like, why you don't? Why do you need? There's two of you. There's two of you in a house, and you know, we glamorize these people turning up, you know, at these awards like the Golden Globes, and we put these people on a pedestal, and they're all earning ridiculous amounts of money, and they're meant to be good for humanitarian rights. And he's just thinking, what humane thing have you done? Like, you haven't solved anything. There's people dying every day for no reason because you want to have a few extra quid in your bank. I don't get it.
Yeah, and but it is the culture that we've created, right? Like, I learned the kind of phrase like the personal is political a few years ago, and I was like, shit, that's so true. We vote with our money. Like, we vote every time we order off Amazon. We vote when we eat meat. I eat meat, by the way. I'm not saying that like everyone should be a vegetarian, but like it's kind of like where we put our money is where we vote. And like, it's impossible to be like kind of 100% well, I don't know. It's super hard to kind of have ethical consumption under capitalism, but I think there are like ways and if we all stopped caring about celebrities collectively, if we all just like, let's all unfollow Kim Kardashian, like let's all just starve these people of our attention, they would be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is our obsession and our collective culture that is shaping the world. And that's why I feel so called to the work that I do in terms of nervous system with, you know, meditation and yoga and like these things, because if we do this work, if we do this hard, shitty, sober, going into ourselves and being able to show up as a more conscious and regulated and connected person in the world, imagine if, I think the ripple effect, if you start doing the work, I think it ripples out to 60,000 people. Like, I don't know how they worked that out, but it's like if you start kind of improving yourself, imagine how you show up differently in your relationship, and how you show up differently in your friendship, and then your family, and then how they show up differently. And it's like every single tiny interaction that we have, whether it is posting online, whether it is smiling at the person who's the cashier who's checking your shopping out, like, or, you know, having a chat with your barista, or, you know, just being a bit friendlier on a work call or whatever it is. It's like we collectively shape the culture with every single interaction that we have. And I think it's really empowering to realize, like, yeah, I know I'm only an individual, but I'm an individual in this wider collective. And if I can influence people positively, then I am making a difference. And a really good book, I don't know if you've read it, it's called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible by Charles Einstein. It is incredible. And if you feel like existential or like the world's going to shit and like just everything, like I highly recommend that book. It made me feel the most hopeful. Just, yeah, it's such a beautiful book. Like, listen to it if
on my Christmas list.
Like, yeah, I highly recommend. Yeah.
No, you answered it again beautifully. It's exactly that. And if you find ourselves, I suppose, locked in, contracted or chained to the society that we live in due to where we spend our money, and you can't be you can't be ethical in this day and age, because whatever you do there's something that contradicts your reasons for being ethical. Do you know what I mean? It's like I had friends who were vegan, and I was like, okay, they're vegan, but you know, you drive a Tesla. So what you're saying is, you know, there's people mining lithium for your batteries, and, you know, there's young kids dying every day for your battery, but God forbid that a cow dies because you want to be vegan. So you're saying that a cow's more important than a child. And you can have these sort of conversations with people.
Circular arguments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't really get anywhere, but it's just, and we're in a world of like hypocrisy and contradiction, and we can't escape it, because like, even for me, you know, I don't want to be part of the system as such, but I'm here doing a podcast and I have my iPhone and I have, you know, the equipment for me to be able to do that. And I wouldn't be able to do that without the equipment. So in theory, I'm supporting the capitalism that I'm also saying I'm against. So even for me, it's such a hard place to be.
Yeah. And I think it's a place where a lot of more conscious and like spiritual people really struggle with. It's like, I don't agree with this system, but I need to be in it to even start to change it.
Yeah,
and it's like something I've been battling with business and social media for like the past year, where I'm like, oh, it's all so stupid and I hate it, and like it's like,
but I need it,
and then it's like, I need it, I really need it, like, and I need money to survive, and it's like, it's such a mind fuck. But we need to be nourished, we need to be sustained, and I think at the moment it's like trying to be as ethical and whatever as you can, like, in your opinion, like, is the best that you can do. And I think starting initiatives that are bigger than yourselves, and I think that's why we're seeing such a boom in the coaching and the wellness industry of people wanting to share their knowledge, share their expertise. And I think it's super beautiful. Like, people take the piss all the time about this sort of work, and I think there is a lot of it where I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cringe, but also there's some really amazing, important work happening. But I think it's crucial that we don't get caught up in all the love and light in it all, that we stop looking at the more like the boring shit, right? Like the economics and the what's the word, like structural integrity, I guess, of society and infrastructure. That's the word. Yeah, like our infrastructure, the way that things are being run, the politics of it all, like looking at the boring stuff as well as like the fun stuff.
It's absolutely right. And I think it's trying to find, again, because I've found as well in the community of self-help and sober coaching and yoga teachers and spiritualists, and it's trying to find out the genuine people rather than the people that are attaching themselves to something that's on trend at the moment and trying to make a quick buck out of it. I think that's a very hard place to be or to navigate through, because I see some, I'm not going to mention any names, but I do see some things I'm thinking, like, last week you were posting about this and now you're posting about that, so it just feels like you're, and I scroll down, I look at further through and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, last year your big thing was that, and so are you here for the right reasons? Do you know what I mean? And that grates on me a wee bit sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, that integrity behind this sort of work. And yeah, I think I'm just like really intrigued to see where everything is going to go in the next few years, like with this industry, with social media, with like the world as well. But I'm hoping, with the work that I do and with doing things like this and having conversations like this, that we can just begin to create a culture that's more curious, right? And more interested in what other people have to say, and not so like, because I've said a lot of things on this podcast, but I'm always open to a different point of view, right? And I will change my opinion about something if I get new information. And I think a lot of people could learn to do that as well. You don't have to identify as this, like, I'm a vegan, like, sorry, that was such like a mean example.
We're not attacking vegans, sorry.
No, sorry, vegans. But it's a good example.
No, it is, because it's very popular.
Super, it's very charged.
Yeah.
You can get super bogged down with the views and the opinions and the labels even, like, right? For so long I was like, I'm a yoga teacher, because it felt so comfortable for me to say that, because I was like, people know what a yoga teacher is. If I say I'm a retreat facilitator and I'm a women's mentor and I'm a podcast coach and I'm also interested in psychedelics and facilitation, they're like, what the fuck are you, or like, what do you actually do? Do you know what I mean? And it's like having that, I guess, curiosity and openness, and also willingness to change and see the world in a slightly different lens. And because I think nothing in this weird and wonderful planet is black and white. Someone's always going to see something differently. And I think, really, I've said this before, like in an interview, I think all we're here to do is just connect and to love each other. Like, it sounds so cringe, but I think that is really just the point of everything. It's like, we are just here to, everything's a relationship, and we're just here to love each other. Like, and it doesn't, there are all these intricacies of life, but like, that is the one truth that I always come back to. It's like, my biggest value is love, truth, and freedom. I think those are just the most important things to us. And
love, truth,
coming back to love, being free to say what you want to say, being free to say your truth, right? And that's just probably what I'd want to leave the listeners with.
It is true. And I think it's what did you say there? My mind's gone completely. I'm not trying to say that there's more good than bad coming out of the current sort of sober coaching and the wellness industry. I'm not saying it's everyone out there is trying to take your money. I think there's some great people out there, and there's some good things going to happen through that. It's just trying to navigate yourself in that. And there's something else you said, and my mind has completely just farted. Like, I can't remember what I was going to say. Nope. It's completely gone.
It's because we've both been focusing for too long.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Was that an hour and a half? Fuck. Yeah. Okay. So we'll end it. We'll end it with you. Your final message. I can feel it now. It's been great talking to you, Naomi. And just before you leave, you mentioned about how you want to leave it there with the listeners. Do you want to sort of explain it again, just one last time, so they can get it in full?
Yeah. So I think that it all just comes back to love and comes back to connection. And I think all that we're really here to do is to love and connect. And just like at the end of the day, we're all humans. And I think we just need to remember that our shared humanity and our common humanity, and that we're all connected. And if I do something on this side of the world, like, it is going to have an impact on the other side of the world. And we're all connected, and we should all come back to the values of love and having the freedom to share our truth. And I think that shows up in like all the smallest moments in life, like the moments, who are you when no one's watching? Who are you? Because I think this comes back to kind of what we were saying about this industry. Are you here for the right reasons? Are you embodied? Do you have integrity? It's like not who you are on your Instagram. Who are you in the coffee shop? Who are you in your supermarket? Who are you to the waitress or your taxi driver? Like, these small interactions are what make you as a person. And I think that's a better show of your character.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if people want to get, listen to more from you, your socials,
yeah, sure.
Where can they find you?
My Instagram is Naomi Balderson. I do have a podcast, Diary of a Dropout. You can go back and listen to all 61 episodes if you would like, but
marathon.
It's coming back. She's gonna have a big comeback era when I have some time.
when I can find the time again. And I'll leave I'll leave your handles and that in the description as well, so people can find you. But
thank you so much.
It's been amazing chatting to you, Naomi, and I wish you all the best in your adventure and your endeavors, and enjoy the rest of your stay in Thailand. How long you got left there? A couple of months?
I go back to Jersey end of January, so still got a good
Christmas, New Year too. Live it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Naomi.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you. I've loved it. You're a great interviewer.
Thanks. Appreciate it. You take it easy.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.
And there you have it, everyone. Naomi's journey. From dropping out of university to evolving from yoga teacher to self-trust mentor. This reminds us that mental health recovery, psychedelic healing, and personal growth, they aren't linear. They require courage, integration, and radical honesty. We talked about toxic relationships, eating disorders, substance use, women's health, depression, medication, creativity, and collective consciousness, and how embracing dark seasons can unlock purpose and authenticity. But remember, medication is a tool, joy is medicine, authenticity is power, and the way we live, love, and spend shapes the world we create. Thanks for listening, thanks for being here, and remember, be good to yourself. I'll leave Naomi's handles at the bottom in the description if you want to go and see what she's up to. If this episode resonated, share it with someone navigating their own healing journey. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please rate and follow the show. But more importantly, share it with someone you think might need to hear it. This simple act might just save someone's life. You can help the show continue to grow and reach more people we can help by buying me a coffee. The link is also in the description. I'll also put the link in the description for the socials and YouTube channel if you want to go and see what I've got going on over there.